So Cheap Bike Challenge 2025 build is almost complete. The trash hopper is looking absolutely horrific. The one piece that I didn't actually have was a rear brake cable. So this $10 cable represents the only purchased piece for this build. I checked everywhere. I checked the hanging gardens of Mech. I checked the big coil of cables over here. I even checked bib short DMR V8 crank and bottle cage corner down there, and no joy. So we'll get this cable on, and I've got some trash reused outers. Okay, so as you've just seen, 150 US dollars translates into 235 Australian dollars. At the end of part one, we concluded that the frame, the C-clamp, the seat post, the headset, the stem, and these horrific bars, and that drilled out fork came to a grand valuation of $40. So adding to that then, this wheel, I'm going to say is 25 bucks. It's still a little Fakona. It functions perfectly fine. This Tektro hydraulic brake works perfectly fine, but it is a Tektro, 15 bucks. So 25, 15, Diora shifter, it's pretty old, 5 bucks. All the cables have been reused from old builds except for the inner on the rear brake, which was $10, so $10 for all the cables. The grips are absolutely trash, they're worth nothing, $0. The saddle, it is worn, it is torn, I'm sure it's uncomfortable as hell as well, $5. STX front mech currently being deployed as a chain guide, 10 bucks. This Suntour crankset is pretty nasty. It's pretty heavily worn. The teeth are pretty shark finned. Bottom bracket in there, and these pedals, the bearings are really lumpy. I'm gonna say 10 bucks. SGXRC rear mech, 15 bucks. This is the original wheel that actually came on this red rock hopper. It even has an original specialized tire. In saying that, it's also pretty old, it's pretty trashed, but it does have a Ritchie hub. I'm gonna say 15 bucks. And then the piece de resistance is these brakes. It's hard to tell on camera, but these are actually arms of two entirely different brakes, $5. So when you add up all of that monstrosity, you're looking at 160 Australian dollars worth of horrendous bike building, which means there's 75 Australian dollars in the bank, which means I've definitely earned myself a beer. So the theme for this build was I wanted to spend no money, and I would have done so had I not had about 40 front cables and no rear cables. So I had to drop 10 bucks today on a rear cable, which I'm absolutely livid about, clearly absolutely incandescent with rage. But overall, I think it's a bit of fun throwing these together, you know, like it's got to be one of one, and for so many reasons. But it making use of stuff that otherwise would just go unused, you know, like this frame is ratty and scrappy, and someone drilled a bloody brace out on those forks, which otherwise would actually have some purpose. Everything on this bike is pretty much going to be confined to the parts bin or the rack in case of like failure on something else. The only exceptions really being this beautiful Transect stem and that wheel, which belongs on that blue Kona over there. Other than that, the rest of it is just probably find its way to eBay at some point, like those STX or C-Max, etc. So I didn't want to spend any money. I thought, you know what, make use of what you got, cobble it together into something that vaguely functions, TBC. And yeah, I think it's a bit post-apocalyptic, which seems fitting for the state of the world today. But in saying that, we'll get it out for a spin. I'm sure it's going to turn some heads. It'll make some babies cry, and it'll make some pearl clutchers clutch their pearls. But that's the whole name of the game. So, been a bit of fun. I'm sure there's going to be lots of far superior builds in Cheap Bike Build Off 2025. I look forward to seeing them all. This is definitely not my finest work, but you know what? I didn't have a plan. I think that's been extremely evident. There's plenty of other bikes in here that get a lot more use, that need a lot more care and attention than this thing. But in saying that, at least it's an improvement on last year's, because last year I built this Diamondback Sorrento, which was a nightmare because I had a 1-inch head tube, and I stuck a carbon fiber Zip 404 Firecrest on the front, which the internet loved, but then it transpired it was cracked and it was tubular. So yeah, I nearly killed myself on it. So yeah, less of that, more of this. Throw all your old spare parts together, build it into something awful, go ride it, have fun in the woods. If you've liked this, or if you've absolutely been disgusted by it, get in the comments. And otherwise, subscribe, share the love. And yeah, look forward to seeing your builds. And yeah, moving on to bigger and better things. Peace.